to be talking about how to quit sugar. But honestly, this can probably be used for like quitting like any food in general. So it's not really limited to just sugar, but I would say that most people want to quit sugar because sugar is addictive and everyone likes sugar. Everyone does, right? Everyone does to varying extents, but I would say most people like sugar. Sugar's addicting. It's literally everywhere in our food. So, I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to not find someone who is addicted to sugar nowadays, unfortunately. So I'll be going through like 3 levels of sort of quitting that people go through. You know, what they are, what they provide, what like how they help you, but also the limitations. Right. So starting right off, we have level 1, which is literally the hateful perspective. It's like, okay, I'm starting off to quit sugar. Okay, what's the best way? Let's see. The perspective where I hate sugar, right? Yes, sugar is bad. I'm going to avoid everything on it. And yeah, most people start off with that because I think it's pretty natural to just instill an us versus them mentality with this. I mean, we do it everywhere, right? Politics, sports, like everything. So why not just do it with this too, you know? It's like us is against sugar. Them is sugar, you know? And this hateful perspective is actually quite limiting, and it's actually not solving any issue whatsoever because you're still stuck in the addiction cycle. And so the addiction cycle is basically where you use, you quit, you use again, you quit, you use, quit, use, quit, use, quit. And it's an entire cycle like that. And when you develop a hateful perspective to sugar, you're in the cycle. Because after using for any addiction, you use and then you think, how did I do that? Why did I do that? I know this is terrible for me. And then you go a distance without using. And then you eventually succumb and you use again. And then you feel terrible about yourself. And then you brandish yourself. You think terrible things about yourself. You think terrible things about the addiction. And it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on. So that's level 1. The hateful perspective. One that doesn't solve anything. The second, level 2, is no perspective. And instead of hating sugar, instead you just have no perspective. And how you do this is by controlling your external circumstances. So you just get rid of all sugar in your house, all sugar everywhere you go, right? I mean, it works for sure. If you can't think about it, you can't do anything about it. And I've certainly posted videos about saying that, you know, that is the best way to quit something, but there are limitations to it. But before that, for one, this is definitely better than the hateful perspective, because with the hateful perspective, like, you know, you hate it and then you're just going to use it again. With this, you have no access to it. And so you, like, no matter if you hate it or like it, you have no access, and therefore you can't get it. You can't get any of it. The thing is with this is that whenever you're exposed to it again, you're right back at square one. You've done nothing for your internal state. You've changed the world to suit you. But you've done nothing about yourself so that you can resist the world. You know, you still allow the world to affect you in ways that you don't actually want it to. And that's the issue. And that's where we get to level 3, which is not having a strong perspective at all. It's the thinking that I can eat it, I can consume it, but I won't. And this perspective is more reflective because of the processes needed to get you there. So, the thing is, with level 3, is that you actually quit. Like, hands down, you will quit anything that you want if you manage to get this. You'll quit anything. Sugar, oily foods, fast foods, crispy foods. You'll quit anything. The detriment is that most of you won't get there because you simply won't practice. You simply won't listen to what I'm saying and telling you to do because it's uncomfortable. Because honestly, it's not extremely hard. It really isn't. You just have to commit to it. You just have to commit to practicing all the time. But most of you can't even do that. And you'll fail. And those of us who do succeed, we'll just look at you and we'll laugh because it's not that hard. Because you just need to commit. You just need to be there. You don't need to be a genius for this. I'm no genius. I'm not like a genius level smart. I'd say like maybe average, slightly above average. Like I'm not that smart. But I've done it. Right. And you can too if you practice. And so the practice is basically a sort of meditation. And literally the entire practice consists of putting a sugary food on the table, on the dining table in front of you. You sit down and you literally just stare at it. You just stare at it. And then, you get thoughts about, I'm going to eat this. I want to eat it. It's tempting. I'm feeling hungry, I want to eat this. But you just resist. You just keep on resisting until you succumb. You just keep going. Like, that's the entire practice. That's all you need to do. You just need to do that for some weeks, maybe months. That's it. You do that and you'll have quit. But the thing is that most people won't get to level 3. Most people won't do this practice because it's hard, in a way. It's hard to face your temptations every single day. And failing, in a sense. Failing every single day. It's hard. And it's certainly harder than what everyone else tells you to do. Because it actually works. Because after watching this video, after committing yourself to this, you won't need to watch any other videos about quitting sugar ever again. Because this is the final solution. This is when Hitler says, this is the final solution. But not in a genocidal way. And while it's harder than what other people tell you to do, it's not really that hard. And I'll explain why. Because, you set the piece of food down, right? And then you last a minute, let's say. And then you eventually succumb. And when you succumb, I want you to really just gorge on that thing. Really succumb on it. Like, you don't need to care about, you don't need to think that this is bad or anything. You just eat it. Right? Eat it and you're done. And then you try again. Tomorrow, you put it down. And then, let's say you get 70 seconds instead. So you get 10-second increase. You've gotten stronger. You've resisted for more time now. And this is what you want to do. You just keep on progressively overloading the amount of time you can resist until a certain point. Until that certain point where you can literally just say no to it. You just, nah, I don't want it. Like, that's all you need to do. And if you've been to the gym, this is literally what you do every single day. And eventually you get to a point where, like I said, you can resist so long that you can literally just decide, like, I just don't want it. I resisted for so long that I don't have the desire to eat it anymore. And so I'll just walk away. And that'll be that. And this is truly, like, the only way to actually quit. It's by developing the willpower to resist. It's by developing the ability to resist. And eventually, you eventually get to the place where you can just walk away, right? Every subsequent time after that, it's going to require less and less and less willpower. It gets a little easier every single time. And even now for me, right? For me, I started off with simply just getting rid of it in the house. Until I encountered sugar again, and I was like, well, let's eat it. I couldn't control myself. And then, my solution to that was just, okay, I'm just not going to be in scenarios like that again. But it doesn't work. Because you'll always be in scenarios where you'll be tempted. You'll always be. And the only way to not succumb is to practice your resistance. Is to practice what you're going to do. That is what you're doing with this. You're just literally just practicing resisting. And then seeing how long you can go. For the most part, you just need to be able to resist for 5 minutes. Because even if you're at an event for an hour and there's desirable things at the event, every single time you get the desire, the temptation, you resist for 5 minutes, the desire is gone for more than 5 minutes probably. It's probably going to be gone for like 10, 20 minutes even. And then you get the desire again, and then you just resist again. So it's not like you need to resist for the entire hour. It's just these micro events that happen within the time frame that is dependent on your choice. Right? Your choice of succumbing or not. That's it. That was how to quit sugar. And if you've learned something, if you learned that, if you hopefully believe that this is the true way to finally quit sugar, to never watch another video about quitting sugar again, give it a like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.